Hi, this is CK at CK Education, and today I want to talk about the most important skill that you can have in your career. I truly believe this. I didn't know this, but I want to share this with you, and it may not be what you thought. Now, when I graduated from college, I graduated with an engineering degree, and I didn't do that well in college. It was a big struggle for me. It was very difficult for me. And I tell people often that I barely got through college. And so when I graduated, rather than going into engineering, because really I had very little confidence that I would be a good engineer or could be an engineer at all, because I thought that my success as an engineer would depend on how I did in school. That's just sort of the natural conclusion that I drew. It was logical to me. If I struggled in school, I would probably struggle as an engineer. So I wasn't very confident. So what did I do? I went into sales and management. I really wanted to go into management. And so I applied for this job. This was in the 90s, right out of college, probably in 94, 95, around 95 or something like that. And so it was this big company. I believe they might still be the number one electronics retailer in Canada. It's a company called Future Shot, and they were growing rapidly in the United States. And this was in Seattle. I was living in Seattle, and they were growing rapidly and opening all these stores. And I guess in America, the closest thing that it was like Best Buy. It's kind of like Best Buy, except that the salespeople there, when I was working there, we were all commission. Best Buy, they paid their employee salary hourly, but back then when I was working at Future Shop, they were paying commission. So we had to go through intense training, and we went through like a month of training. Every single day for a month, you would get sales training. This is before even your first day on the sales floor in the store. You're not even working in the store. Outside the store, they're training you for a month. And so I had this really great trainer named John, I remember. And so we were going through, I'd never done sales in my life. I'm like, what is this thing? I don't even know. And I felt like I was training to be an actor or something. It was so awkward to me. We would do all these role plays, and they would teach us the steps, and they would teach us to memorize certain lines and how to say certain things. And it felt like a robot, and it just wasn't jiving with me very well. But I had to go through it. So I went through it. And at the end of it, and when I say end of it, not just the end of the training, but at the end of, like, I did this for about 2 years. And by the end of about 2 years, I felt really comfortable with it. And I learned that this was one of the most important skills that I had ever attained in my career. And today I'm 48 years old, and I've done a lot of things in my career since that first job out of college. But I still look back and think, man, that was one of the most important things I could have learned. It's so important that I tell some of my younger, well, not so very young, but some of my college, my former students who are in college now and even graduating college, and even some high school kids, some of my students, I tell them that you should get experience in sales. Now, let me clarify perhaps some misconceptions. When I say sales, some of you think, oh, what's so important about sales? Like learning how to sell, like a car salesman, Well, car salesmen are certainly salespeople, and some of them get a bad rep only because we have this the slick, sort of sleazy used car salesman sort of stereotype, and because they're just trying to sell you something, they don't really care about you. They're just trying to sell you something and make money, and I understand that. I'm not talking about trying to manipulate or deceive people or use people to make money. That's not what real sales is about. Real sales is learning to understand people, learning to understand what people's real needs are, and building a real relationship with people and communicating effectively with people, empathizing with people, and understanding people so that you can give them the best product or service that they need. Not what you want them to have, but what they need. And this very, very important skill I learned, and I was so glad, and I am so glad today. I still use it today. I've used it all throughout my career. And it is so important because it applies to everything. And I learned that everything you do, no matter what your position is in your career, no matter what you're doing, you say, well, I'm a doctor. It doesn't appeal, it doesn't apply to me. Absolutely, it does. You might say, well, I don't know, I'm an engineer. I was an engineer as well. But it absolutely applied to me, and it does apply to me. You might say, well, I'm just an administrative assistant. It doesn't apply to me. Like I said, it applies to every single person. If you're getting paid to do your job, whatever that job is, it involves sales. You just may not know it. Okay. So there are some steps in sales that I learned that were so important. And the number one most important thing about sales is building a real and authentic relationship with your client, with your customer. That's the most important thing. Think about it this way. If you ask your friend for advice, a good close friend whom you trust, if you ask that person for advice, you would take that advice more seriously than you going out in the street and just finding somebody and say, hey, what do you think about whatever? Now, if that person in the street told you their opinion, you might kind of hear it in one ear and just it might go out the other. You might, I don't know. I don't even know this guy, right? I don't even know this guy. But this friend whom I've known for 30 years, this person just gave me this advice. I trust his advice. I trust her advice. We listen to people whom we trust. And that's why the most important thing in sales, the most important thing in work is building an authentic relationship, not a fake one, not one based on just surface, not one based on manipulation, or I'm just trying to make a sale here. Okay. But an authentic relationship with your client or customer. Now, how do you do that? Like I said, I had sales training every single day, 8 hours for 1 month. So there's no way, unless I make a 5-hour, 10-hour, 15-hour video, there's no way that I'm going to cover all that. I can't go into all the nitty-gritty details, but let me just cover some of the main points. But I think if I were to just go one level deeper on this one, so how do you do that? Well, I think it comes from your heart. I think it has to be your motivation from the start that you determine in advance, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be authentic. Even if I don't make money off that person, even if I don't sell to that person what I need today, I still want to have a good relationship. Even if that person buys nothing from me, I'm going to treat them like a person. And I'm going to value them. I'm going to respect them as a person. I'm not going to manipulate them. I'm not going to deceive them. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to treat them with respect as a human being. That is a heart thing. Now, if you don't have that, I think it's hard to fake it. You might be able to fake it for a short period of time, but it'll come knocking at your door again. And it will come find you out if you're fake. So you got to have an authentic relationship. Another thing that I learned that was so important is qualifying your client, or qualifying. And that is just saying you're asking the right questions to see what that person needs. Now think about whatever job you're doing. Isn't that important for what you're doing? If you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, isn't it important that you ask the right questions of your patients? Or do you just say, oh, you're hurting there. Okay, well, let's just get an x-ray and let's just... No, you got to ask questions. And the better questions that you ask, the better answers that you get. And the better answers that you get, you can better help your patient. If you're an administrative assistant, you don't just work by yourself. You work with other people. You work with your boss. You work for your boss. Isn't it important that you ask the right questions so you know that what your boss wants? Now, when I say asking the right questions of your client isn't always someone who's buying something from me. It can be someone I'm working for. It can be someone I'm working with. A client can be anyone in the process stream of people I'm working for, working with. Okay. It could even be people who are working for me. Now, in the real sense of the word, in sales, they are clients and customers, but you can broaden that definition so that it can really be anyone whom you are working with, working for, or even maybe people working for you. So those kinds of asking the right questions and qualifying the person to see what the real needs are is so important. Now, another thing that I learned was overcoming objections. And so if you have, say, you're working with someone and you always get a little bit of pushback sometimes, or you want to do this, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Or would you like this? No, I don't want that. do you want to buy this today? No, I think I need to go home and think about it. Okay. So in the pure sense of the word in sales, would you like to get that product today? No, I need to go home and think about it. I might be back tomorrow. Okay. Or this is too expensive. I don't think I can afford it. Or whatever the thing might be. I don't know if I'm ready yet. I have to go talk to my spouse. I have to, whatever the thing is, whatever the objection is, do you know how to overcome that? Okay. And again, it's not strong arming people. It's not manipulating people. It's not bullying people. It is, again, going back to knowing what their real needs are. And it is very possible that they are just not ready yet. And if those people are not ready, I've learned, you let them go. That's okay. Okay. That's okay. When you are ready, please let me know. If you have any questions, just let me know. Look, here's my business card. And you can give me a call, you can email me, you can text me. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. If you treat them like a real human being and respect them, and genuinely it comes from their heart, from your heart, then I think that does a lot to overcome whatever objections they might have. And there are other ways to overcome fake objections. Sometimes there's fake objections. They're just putting up a front. They really want to buy it today, but they're giving you an excuse. And there's other ways. But overcoming objections is very important. It's very important, okay? And then there's other things like asking for the sale. It's so important. It's asking for the sale. Some people are so intimidated that they can't ask for the sale. Would you like to get that today? Is there something that I can help you? They don't even want to. They don't want to ask because they don't want to be rejected. And one of the first things I learned in sales was, if you are afraid of rejection, you cannot be good at sales. For every 10 times you ask a customer something, they will, 9 out of 10 times, probably they're going to reject you. No, I'm just looking. I don't need help. No, go away. And you have to be okay with that. You have to, okay, that's okay. And you have to come back just as nice and with a good attitude, with a positive attitude, and you still have to be genuine and authentic. That is the hard part. This is why so many things are simple to say and explain like this, but it's hard to do because there's a lot of things in my mind, in your heart, your mindset that you have to change in order to do it successfully. That's why I really felt like it probably took me, I don't know, a year and a half before I felt like I'm very comfortable with this, So it's not just the words, it's changing the mindset so that I really am okay with rejection. Okay, that's okay. You don't have to buy. Okay. And then of course there's also the in sales, there's also the customer service part, the follow-up part. Okay. Now, this is where you see a lot of people. They sell a product or a service or something like that, and then when they're done, they're just done. Well, I made money off that person, so now on to the next one. I think that's very unfortunate. I love building relationships, authentic relationships. I am not into fake relationships. Okay, I'm not into manipulating. I think that's crap. I really value people. I value business people who are authentic, who are real, and who want to build authentic relationships. This is what I try to do with my students, and I have many students who can testify to this. They've been done with me for over a decade, some of them, and we still keep in touch. They still call me for advice. They still text me and ask me questions. And I'm so happy to hear from them. I'm so happy to share my knowledge and experience and whatever I can do to help them. And the other day, one of my students whom I known, I don't know, like since maybe 15 years ago, texted me and we talked on the phone for about 45 minutes. And he was asking me about, buying a house and has some questions and things like that. And it's just wonderful because I made it a point. When I started this business a long time ago, I said, I want to build real, authentic relationships. It's not just the students were with me while their parents were paying me, and then when we're done, I'll see you later. I encourage all of my students, look, you can always contact me. You can always ask me for advice. You can always email me. You can always text me, and I'll be here. I'll listen, and I'll do the best I possibly can to advise you with wisdom and to sort of point you in the right path if that is something that I know about. So, it's the follow-up. It's the after thing. You can tell a lot about a person after the money exchange has gone away. What are they like? Some people just disappear, and that tells you they probably weren't or are not authentic. And so, as you can see, sales is goes way beyond. Oh, I have to be a salesman. It's not being a salesperson. it's not having that position in which you only need the sales skills. You need sales skills for everything you do in life. For everything you do in life. Everything is sales. And so it's one of the most important things. I think one of the big reasons why when people who were employees become self-employed business owners, I think one of the big reasons that people fail as entrepreneurs is they don't have any idea of what effective sales skills are. They just go into it blind. They're like, I don't know anything about it. And they go into it, and I think they fail because they don't have any sales skills and they never took the time to learn it. They don't even know that it exists. They think it's for salespeople. And I'm here to tell you it's for everybody. And maybe in another video, I can go into more details about each one of these things. If you're interested in more details, again, please comment and let me know, and I'll be happy to make more videos on things like that. But this is a little bit longer. I want to end it here for this video, and then maybe in future videos I'll cover more. So, hey, thanks for listening, and thanks for watching this video. And I encourage you to watch many of my other videos on my channel that deal with a lot of other things. So, thanks for watching, and until my next video, I hope you stay well.